When Malcolm Green, a hard-working businessman, returned home from a week-long trip, he expected peace. Instead, he found his mother locked inside her bedroom, weak, hungry, and traumatized. The shocking truth soon surfaced. His wife, Alicia, the woman he trusted most, had done it. In a home once filled with laughter, pain took over. Malcolm's world crumbled as he faced the impossible, choosing between the mother who raised him and the wife he vowed to protect. As guilt consumed Alicia and bitterness consumed Loretta, love seemed lost forever. But when a wise pastor stepped in, the family began a journey of truth, repentance, and healing. Through tears, therapy, and faith, they discovered that forgiveness is the hardest door to unlock, but also the one that leads to freedom. The Locked Door is a deeply emotional story of betrayal, guilt, and redemption. It's a moving reminder that even the darkest chapters of life can end with light, and that no heart is beyond healing when love chooses forgiveness. Before we begin, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us share more powerful, emotional, and life-changing stories that inspire forgiveness, healing, and hope. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this story with someone who believes in second chances. The Monday morning sun spilled through the hotel blinds in Houston when Malcolm Green's phone buzzed insistently. He had just finished a presentation when his younger sister, Tanya, called. Her voice trembled. "Malcolm, are you home yet?" "No, I'm still in Houston." "Why?" he asked, uneasy. There was silence, then a sigh. "I tried calling Mama since Friday. She's not answering." Malcolm frowned. "That's strange. She never goes a day without talking to you." "Exactly. I called your wife too, but she said Mama's fine and sleeping." Something about the way Tanya said sleeping made his stomach tighten. He promised to call back and immediately rang his wife, Alicia. "Hey, baby," she answered cheerfully. "Hey, how's Mom?" "She's fine, just tired. You know how she gets when you travel." Malcolm tried to believe her, but something in her tone didn't sit right. "I'll be home tomorrow morning," he said. There was a pause. "That soon?" "Yeah," he replied. "I miss you both." But as he hung up, unease crept into his chest. Alicia had been acting different lately, cold toward his mother, impatient, even dismissive. He tried to shake off the thought, but by nightfall, anxiety had rooted deep. By Tuesday morning, Malcolm's flight landed in Atlanta. The drive home was long, filled with an odd tension in the pit of his stomach. When he reached the house, the air felt strangely quiet. "Alicia!" he called, stepping inside. No response. He found her in the living room, dressed neatly, scrolling through her phone. "Hey!" she said with a forced smile. "Where's Mom?" Alicia's eyes flickered. "Upstairs, resting. For 2 days. She wasn't feeling well. I thought it best to let her rest." Malcolm frowned, climbing the stairs. When he reached his mother's door, he tried the handle. It was locked from outside. His heart froze. "Alicia!" he shouted. She appeared behind him. "Malcolm, wait." He kicked the door open. Inside, his mother, Loretta Green, sat weakly on the bed, her eyes sunken, lips dry. A half-empty water bottle sat by her side. "Mom!" he cried, rushing to her. "What happened?" Her trembling hands reached for him. She locked me in." Malcolm turned to Alicia, disbelief on his face. "You did what?" "Malcolm, please, she wouldn't stop insulting me," Alicia snapped, tears already welling. "I needed space. I didn't mean for it to go this far." Loretta's voice cracked. 3 days, Alicia. No food. No light. Malcolm's jaw tightened. "You locked my mother up like a prisoner?" "I was losing my mind, Malcolm. She said things, terrible things, about me, about our marriage. You weren't here. Then you call me. You don't starve my mother." Alicia covered her face, sobbing. "I didn't mean to hurt her. I snapped." The scene was chaos, Loretta crying, Alicia on her knees, and Malcolm caught between anger and heartbreak. He guided his mother gently out of the room. Come, Mom. Let's get you something to eat. Downstairs, as he warmed soup for Loretta, Alicia remained in the corner, sobbing quietly. That night, Malcolm sat alone in the living room, staring into nothing. How could the woman he loved do such a thing? The next morning, Tanya arrived. She gasped when she saw their mother's condition. "Oh Lord, Alicia did this?" Malcolm nodded weakly. Tanya's fury flared. "She should be in jail." Malcolm sighed. "Please, not now. I need to think." "Think?" "She could have killed Mama." Alicia stayed upstairs, ashamed to come out. When Tanya stormed toward her room, Malcolm stopped her. "I'll handle this." He climbed the stairs and found Alicia sitting on the floor beside the bed. "You've destroyed something sacred, Alicia," he said softly. "I know," she whispered. "I hate myself for it." She began to explain how the arguments with Loretta had worsened after Malcolm's last trip, how his mother criticized her cooking, her parenting, even her faith. "She said I wasn't raised right, that I didn't deserve you." Malcolm swallowed hard. "So you punished her?" "I just wanted silence," she said. "But I went too far." When the knock came, it wasn't gentle. 3 firm raps echoed through the quiet house. Malcolm glanced through the window. A uniformed police officer stood beside a social worker, both holding clipboards. His stomach sank. "Mr. Green?" the officer asked when he opened the door. "Yes, officer. Can I help you?" "We received a welfare report. Someone said they heard crying from your property over the weekend." Alicia froze on the couch. Loretta sat silently at the dining table, her frail hands folded together. Malcolm's heart began to race. "It's true," Loretta said weakly. "But my son's home now. Everything's okay." The social worker, a calm woman in her 40s, took notes. "Ma'am, were you denied food or water?" Loretta hesitated, glancing at Malcolm. "I was confined. But it's over now." The officer looked at Alicia. "Ma'am, did you lock her in?" Alicia's lips trembled. "Yes. But I didn't mean for it to be like that. I was overwhelmed." Malcolm could feel his whole life spinning. "Officer, please, this is a family issue. My wife needs help, not handcuffs." The officer exchanged a glance with the social worker. "We'll file a report, but no arrest tonight. Make sure she receives proper care." After they left, silence swallowed the room. Alicia sat on the edge of the sofa, tears falling fast. Malcolm looked at her with a mixture of pity and pain. "Do you realize what could have happened?" Alicia whispered. "Yes. And I hate myself for it every second." He didn't respond. He just stood up, walked into the kitchen, and stared at the sink, the reflection of a man trying to understand how love turned into a crime. 2 mornings later, Malcolm called Pastor Rhonda, a woman known in their church for handling families on the brink. "Pastor," he said quietly, "my home is falling apart." That afternoon, the couple sat across from the pastor in her softly lit office. A cross hung behind her, and gospel music hummed gently in the background. "Let's start with honesty," Pastor Rhonda said. "Alicia, why did you feel the need to lock her in?" Alicia took a deep breath. "Because I was angry. I felt humiliated every day she was here. She told me I wasn't woman enough for Malcolm. She said I'd never be good to him. I believed her." Malcolm's jaw tightened. "So you punished her?" Alicia's eyes glistened. "I wanted peace, Malcolm, not punishment." But the silence turned into cruelty. The pastor turned to Malcolm. "And you? Have you been fair to both women?" He swallowed. "Maybe not. I expected them to get along without helping them find balance." "Exactly," Rhonda nodded. "You can't build peace on avoidance." By the time they left, both were quiet, heavy with truth. "Outside the church," Malcolm said softly, "we'll fix this. But it has to start with you owning what you did." "I already do," Alicia said, tears spilling. "Now I need her to believe I can change." The days after counseling were long and silent. Alicia barely left their bedroom. Sometimes Malcolm would hear her crying softly in the middle of the night. Once, he found her sitting on the floor beside their wedding photo, whispering, "I don't deserve him." Loretta, though recovering, avoided Alicia completely. When she needed something, she asked Malcolm. Even her tone carried quiet disappointment. Malcolm tried to juggle everything: work calls, doctor appointments, home tension. His once peaceful home now felt like a graveyard of broken trust. One evening, Alicia approached him timidly as he read the news on his tablet. "Malcolm," she whispered, "I wrote Mama a letter. Can you give it to her?" He took it reluctantly. It read, "I can never undo what I did, but I want you to know I'm sorry. I was drowning in pride and hurt. You didn't deserve it. Please, if not for me, forgive me for the sake of peace." Malcolm handed the letter to Loretta the next morning. She read it quietly, folded it, and placed it on the table. "I need time," she said. "Some wounds heal slow." The tension finally erupted one Saturday morning. Loretta had accidentally broken one of Alicia's favorite vases. Alicia rushed into the living room, shouting, "That was a gift from my sister." Loretta snapped back. "And? You locked me up like a dog. You think I care about your vase?" Malcolm stepped in between them. "Enough." But both women were shaking, faces red, words sharp. Alicia burst into tears. "I'm trying, Malcolm. I'm trying to make it right, but she hates me." Loretta's voice cracked. "You don't know what it's like to be treated like I was." Malcolm shouted, "Stop." His voice echoed through the house. For a long moment, no one moved. Then Malcolm's voice softened. "I can't live like this anymore," he said. "We're all breaking, me, you, this family. I need both of you to decide whether peace matters more than pride." He walked out to the porch, tears burning his eyes. Behind him, he heard quiet sobs from both women, two broken hearts, realizing how far they'd fallen. Pastor Rhonda came again after Malcolm's call. She brought cookies and calmness. "I see tired hearts," she said gently. "But tired hearts can still be healed ones." They all sat in the living room. Pastor Rhonda looked at Loretta. "Do you still see Alicia as your enemy?" Loretta hesitated. "No. But I see pain when I look at her. It reminds me of those days." "And you, Alicia, do you see her as your critic?" Alicia nodded. "Yes. But also as my mirror. She exposes the things I don't want to admit about myself." Rhonda smiled softly. "Then there's hope. Forgiveness begins where understanding grows." When she left, Loretta turned to Alicia. "You made my life hell, Alicia. But I can see you're trying." Alicia's lips quivered. "I'll keep trying, Mama. I promise." Change came slowly, like dawn after a storm. Alicia began small acts, cleaning Loretta's room, washing her clothes, preparing her favorite grits and baked catfish. She didn't speak much, just acted. And little by little, Loretta noticed. One afternoon, Loretta called her in. "You made this soup?" she asked, tasting the spoonful. "Yes, ma'am." There was a pause. Then Loretta said quietly, "It tastes like forgiveness." Alicia smiled through her tears. "I hope it does." That evening, when Malcolm came home, he found both women in the kitchen, cooking side by side, the tension easing like melting ice. He stood by the doorway and smiled, whispering, "Thank you, Lord." To mark the progress, Malcolm invited Tanya and Pastor Rhonda for dinner. The table was full: mac and cheese, cornbread, roast chicken. For the first time in months, laughter returned. Pastor Rhonda raised her glass. "To second chances." Loretta smiled faintly. "And to learning that love requires patience." Alicia reached across the table, trembling slightly. "Mama, thank you for letting me back in your space." Loretta placed her hand over hers. "I'm not fully healed, but I'm done hating you." Tanya exhaled, emotional. "That's all we've prayed for." That night, Loretta couldn't sleep. She went to Alicia's room quietly. Alicia sat reading her Bible, startled to see her mother-in-law. Loretta said softly, "May I sit?" "Of course." They talked for hours, about childhood, loneliness, expectations, motherhood. And then, Loretta said through tears, "I lost myself in anger. Maybe that's why God allowed me to suffer. To remind me that forgiveness is power." Alicia held her hand and cried. "I was lost too. But I'm learning." They prayed together until sunrise. It was the first real peace either had felt in months. A week later, Alicia began therapy sessions. Malcolm drove her there every Thursday. Her therapist, Dr. Rochelle, helped her unpack the emotional trauma, resentment from her upbringing, loneliness, and the pressure of caring for an aging in-law. "One day," she told Malcolm in the car, "I've been living with suppressed anger for years. Your mom didn't cause it, she just uncovered it." He nodded slowly. "And now you're facing it." "Yes," she said. "Finally." At home, Loretta encouraged her to continue. "Healing is a process, child. Keep walking it." Spring arrived. The family decided to plant flowers together in the backyard, an act symbolizing rebirth. Malcolm planted sunflowers. Alicia planted white lilies. Loretta planted roses. As they worked, Loretta said softly, "Every seed deserves sunlight, even hearts that once caused pain." Alicia smiled, dirt on her hands. "Then I hope mine grows something beautiful." Malcolm kissed her forehead. "It already is." In that moment, the air felt light again. No locked doors, no tears, just laughter, prayer, and soil-stained hands rebuilding a home. By Christmas, warmth filled the house again. Loretta's laughter rang through the kitchen as she baked her sweet potato pie. Alicia helped decorate the tree while Malcolm hung lights outside. During dinner, Loretta looked around the table and smiled. "Sometimes love hurts before it heals," she said. Malcolm nodded. "But when it heals, it becomes unbreakable." After everyone went to bed, Alicia walked quietly to the room that had once been locked. She placed her hand on the doorknob and whispered, "Never again." The moonlight touched her face as she smiled faintly, the kind of smile that comes only after redemption. And from that night on, no door in that house was ever locked again.